Hi there, welcome back. This is video number 3 and it's Tuesday 18th of February, and a couple of things I want to talk about, important things that happened to me over the last few days. And the main thing is I've met a lot of new people. I've been back in Amsterdam after being in England. I've been here about a week and a half now, and I met so many new people, and it was really easy. All I did is go online, found this group called Meetup, and or this website called Meetup, and then I looked through all the different groups of what interested me, and there's a lot of different things that interest me actually, but for the moment I wanted to keep it to groups that were actually interested in the same things I'm passionate about at this moment. One of them was almost a week ago now, about 5 days ago now, and it was a Law of Attraction meetup group, and there's quite a lot of people in Amsterdam alone who are interested in the Law of Attraction, but you think, how am I going to meet these people? How am I going to get to meet them and talk to them? And the meetup site gave me one way of doing that, and luckily there was a dinner meeting pretty recently scheduled, so I managed to sign myself into that, and I went along there, and there was 4 other people. I think I told you about this in another video. I don't know, I'm not going to worry about it. I'll tell you again. What the most important thing for me that evening was that I felt free for the first time to actually talk about my deepest beliefs without worrying whether anybody was going to get me, anybody was going to understand me, or even argue the point with me, because these people are all on the same level of belief, of thinking, of spirituality, and all in agreement about the limitless possibilities when you think of yourself as spirit. And they are, there were a couple of people in there that are actually more advanced than I am and more knowledgeable. Everybody, all the different people I've been discovering online lately who are talking about all these concepts, these were known by all these people, so I could throw names out like Abraham Hicks and Bashar and Krishnamurti, if you want, and other people, law of attraction, the holographic universe theories, quantum physics, and everybody understood around the table what I was talking about, and I could understand them too. And it was just so refreshing and so liberating to be able to just discuss anything that came into your head and know that there would be somebody who understood you. Anyway, that was the greatest thing about that evening. I had a great evening. I made up some new friends, and we'll be keeping in touch. And last night I went to another meeting. This was totally different. This was a Toastmasters meeting. Now, I've heard about Toastmasters online from different public speakers, and I have an interest in public speaking, but I don't know in which form that's going to grow. And it's a sort of an extension for my interests in storytelling. And so I went along to this Toastmasters group meeting last night, and it was amazing. I mean, it was not in the way I imagined, though. I don't know if this group is going to be anything for me to stay with, and certainly to follow the trajectory in becoming a public speaker, because it takes a little while to follow the coursework, and I don't know whether I'm going to be in Amsterdam long enough to be able to follow that course. So, but anyway, it's inspiring to see what they're doing. I might have to find another route to becoming a public speaker, but that'll happen when I define precisely how I want to use public speaking in my life. But I went along, and what it wasn't just a public speaking evening, it was actually a dinner evening as well. And I'd just eaten a huge pizza before I went there, and then found out that they've got food on and everything. But I could have had my evening meal there. But they had wine on the tables as well, and it was like a party. And by sitting on tables with different people and moving around from table to table, you got to meet a lot of people really, really quickly. And everybody was so nice, so welcoming, so enthusiastic about all this. Amazing array of nationalities there. I think there was only about one Dutch person there, and two British people, and the rest were from all over the world. It was incredible. All speaking in English, some better than others, but all enthusiastic, all keen, all welcoming, all chatty, and literally, if I go to a party where I don't know anybody, I'm usually sat in the kitchen somewhere, just waiting for someone to come along that I can have a little chat with, one-on-one, because big groups are not my thing. But here, I had no problem at all mingling and networking and moving around. So that was interesting to experience. I wasn't invited to talk because there were two main speakers, and you only get really invited to talk if you're a member. And I was just considered a guest. But I was invited at the end of the evening to share my impressions, and so I told them how I felt about the evening and how I felt welcome and everything. And I must have touched a nerve or said something profound, or said it in a profound way, but people liked what I had to say, and I got an amazing applause, greater than I perceived other people got at that evening. So I must have said something right, and something that moved people that evening, and I'm happy about that. And yeah, I made a couple of contacts that I think I'm going to stay in contact with over the coming period. So it opened up doors for me, and it gave me certainly a lot to think about when I came home, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I think I'll go along to the next one as a guest again, just to consolidate those connections I've already made. So that's a lot of people, new people that I've met in a week here in Amsterdam. That's quite exciting, and that gives me inspiration and motivation to go out and meet even more people, do more things, and be more active than I've been in the past. I've had 11 years here in Amsterdam, and apart from the circle of colleagues that I had, which is enormous because I've been working in schools, my friendship circle is really small. So this is a new movement for me, a new path for me, is to extend my circle of acquaintances and friends, and that's interesting, and it's exciting as hell, and I love it, and it's inspiring me in all aspects of my daily life at this moment. So that was that. Yesterday, another thing, a different thing, I went running with an old friend of mine yesterday, and he runs regularly. He's been running for about 15-20 years now, and he runs every week without fail if he can help it. And when I'm around, I'll join him now and again. I can't keep up with him, but it's not a race. We do a lot of walking in between running, because I'm not experienced. I'm not trained enough to run. My physical training is usually different areas than the running side of things. But I went running with him last night, and for about an hour or something. And he's really into, at this moment, he's into chai running. This is sort of associated with barefoot running, and it's a completely different technique than jogging or running when with all the gear on, with all the running gear and the expensive Nike shoes, and he actually runs in open-toe sandals, and because the idea is to feel the ground under your feet, and this is a good style of running for me because I have flat feet and I have a lot of trouble with fallen arches, and normal running shoes just don't work on my feet. I can get pain and I have to take my shoes off after about half an hour. And running in soft shoes where virtually nothing between your sole and the ground is a way to strengthen up your arches and improve your running technique, so you're not actually working at running, with the result that you can actually run a lot further than normal. So I joined him, and I don't have any open-toe sandals, and I don't have any proper running shoes anymore, and I don't have any expensive barefoot shoes that I made for this sort of things. You can buy them. You can buy proper, very soft running shoes, and they're a little bit like beach shoes or slippers even. But I have a pair of beach shoes, and this is what I wear around the house at the moment. And there's nothing there, but that's my new running shoe. They're designed to walk across hot sand and wear in the sea when you're swimming. So there's absolutely nothing to them, and they're actually worn down a little bit now. And the soles are so thin, you know, you can feel every stone. But that's my new running shoes, and it's so much better than running in great big heavy Nike shoes. I mean, Nike won't be pleased with if this takes off, if this sort of style takes off, because they'll have to change their whole design of running shoe, which will probably collapse a multi-billion-dollar business there. But there's a lot of argument about this, a lot of discussion about this style of running, and most people we passed have got the gear on, the normal expected running shoe gear, and my friend was telling me he's passed a lot of people, had discussions, and they're saying, yeah, but it's not clinically, not scientifically proven that your style of running is any better. And his answer, which is the conclusion we came to, is it doesn't matter what the scientific community says, it doesn't matter what's online, it doesn't matter what the experts are telling you. You are your own experiment. And he says it like that. He says, well, for me it's an experiment. I'm going to run with these shoes for a year, practice chai running for a year, and see what results I get out of it. If it means in the end I run further than I could run in normal shoes, and I feel healthier and I feel fitter and I'm stronger, then it works for me, and that's all the proof I need. And that is in line with my own thinking about life anyway. It's the same with spirituality. You can argue this point whether there's anything outside of the material world, outside of this reality we experience, outside the truths that science and the media and the governments and the educational systems are telling us. You can argue it all and say, if you think differently, then you're wrong. But my spirituality is also a sort of experiment. I don't take everything for granted what I'm told by any so-called expert grouping, not even on the spirituality side of things. It makes sense for me. So I'm going to experiment with it. I'm going to design my life around these spiritual concepts and see what happens. And if at the end of a period of a year or two I'm happier, I've achieved more in my life, I've achieved more happiness, more fulfillment, I've grown as a person, and I'm doing a lot more things with a lot more success, than I was doing in my old life, then it works for me. Whether there is anything after we die, whether we go back to spirit or whether we disappear and just cease to exist, doesn't concern me. What concerns me is what creates the right results for me while I'm here. And spirituality is one way of doing that. And my spirituality is, as I say, it is an experiment. If it works, then that's good enough for me. And I don't have to justify anything else. It works for me, and that's all I'm concerned about. So, try running is one part of it all. And that's what I'm going to, if I go running, I'm definitely going to do it in these little soft shoes and or barefoot on the beach when I finally get to Spain, and see how that works for me, along with all the other things in my life. I've been thinking about my songwriting. There's another area I have to work on. I've been writing songs for 30 years, and I've never been able to make any sort of career out of it. And the reason behind that is character, and maybe ego as well. I've never had the ego or the passion to actually want to be a successful pop star. So I've never followed that path. I write songs that reflect my inner feelings and perceptions about life. And the whole music scene is quite egotistical, and you know, it's about becoming a success, becoming adored by millions of people, making lots of records, selling loads of records, becoming rich, and the marketing that goes behind that is something that I find really distasteful. So I always had a problem wanting to bring my songs out there and not knowing how to do it, because I didn't want to be involved in the whole music business thing. And there's also an element of because I'm not into all that, I don't feel confident when I'm among those sort of people. So if I follow the more normal route of singer-songwriters, which is to go to all the open mic evenings and then do lots of gigs and play wherever you can play and start the festivals and build a following, build a name for yourself, and make a record, get some people to do write-ups on them and get published, get known, go into all the commercial side of things, get your name out as much as possible. I don't feel comfortable with that at all, because I'm not that sort of songwriter, and it's been difficult for me to find my audience or the places where I want to play, the type of people I want to play for, the atmosphere I want to play in. I detest going to play at a gig where half the people are sat at the bar chatting with each other, for example, and drinking beer. It's not. I put a lot of work into my lyrics, and I want people to sit down and listen to them. Simple. Maybe I have to do all that sort of thing to get to this stage, but I don't believe that. I got close to it when I discovered the Mesrab, which is a storytelling group. There was a very different atmosphere in that place. People sat to listen. They came to listen to stories, and if you played a song, that was a story too, so they sat and listened to the song. But that's closer to what I'm looking for. But I still have things to find out about why I write songs actually, what I'm trying to do with my songs, who I'm trying to reach, if I'm trying to reach anything, what messages I'm bringing over, if I'm trying to bring over a message, am I trying to bring over a message? I don't write songs about love and heartache and I'm way past that because, well, you know, I'm not going through those emotional turmoils that, say, teenagers are and the youth of today are going through, so I don't have to be that sort of songwriter. And my songs I've actually finally been able to categorise. I used to think, you know, okay, I'm an acoustic singer-songwriter. Am I a folk singer? Am I a folk singer? Or maybe I'm a protest singer, I don't know. And it's all not true. It's not. I write songs with a self-awareness element, a spiritual element even. And I decided that's the way I should go. Find my audience in the circles of people who are actually busying themselves with personal growth, spirituality, self-awareness, and just stick to it. Forget the rest. Don't go on that singer-songwriter pop music circuit because it just doesn't appeal to me and I don't fit in with it. So I've got to find my own way. This was only came really clear to me a couple of days ago, and I also had a sort of an epiphany to realise that I can't do this all myself. One thing, I'm a typical artist, I suppose, you know, I mean, I'm really inept business-wise. I'm not interested or passionate enough to go out and do all the organisation thing that will get me the gigs, get me in front of the people who I think might appreciate my music. I don't like that sort of thing. It doesn't interest me. I'd rather be just busy with my art, which is my songwriting, and developing my performance skills in comfortable situations with people who actually have the time and the inclination to actually listen to what I've written. So I decided, you know, what I really need is a manager. I've never thought about this before, but it suddenly seems like the greatest idea I could have ever had to develop my songwriting path. I won't say career, because I don't know if it'll be a career, but it'll certainly be a path I follow intently. So I've decided I need a manager. I've put it out there to a couple of people I've recently met, one from the Law of Attraction group and one last night from the Toastmasters group. Two really nice people who I think would be very capable of doing the things I can't do. And I'm just waiting to see what the reaction is. If they don't, if they're not interested in doing it, if they decline my offer, I just asked them straight out. I said, you know, I'm looking for a manager. I think you'd be great to be my manager. Will you consider it? And so if they decline this, then I'm going to put it out there more, because I realise so much that, you know, I can't do everything alone. I can't do all these things alone, and I don't want to do all these things alone either. I want to be more involved with other people to design and create and carry out different projects, different creative projects, whether that's music or whether that's anything else. I don't want to do it alone anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this, and if I do get a manager, how my music path is going to develop and take off. I am really busy and inspired and motivated in songwriting at the moment. This goes through phases with me, waves of inspiration. Sometimes I can't come up with anything, sometimes they fall out of the sky, these songs and ideas and clarity for what I want to communicate, and that's going to keep me busy for the coming period. A lot of songwriting, and I intend to start making little recordings, home recordings, and creating YouTube videos with my songs on them. So you'll get some music videos coming up on this this channel before very long. Okay, that was about it. One last little thing is this room you see behind me is actually my house. Because I've been away for a little while, my son lives here, and he has a friend who lives in the house as well. But she has the main bedroom, and my son has this whole expanse, which is what used to be my bedroom at the back behind glass doors, and the living room here, and it's turned into one long apartment. And they've had the place to themselves for about 6 months, and they're really comfortable with that. And then I turn up and I encroach on their space, and it's not very nice for them. So even though it's my house, I've decided to move myself up into the attic. So I've got a little room up there which I've made nice and cozy and inspiring for me, a place, sort of a sacred space for myself, which I hope will inspire me creatively as well. So that's going to be fun to live in my own attic and see what that brings for me. I'm going to call it a day for the moment and get on into my next project, which is playing my songs, working on my songs, and maybe making a video to put up soon to share my music with everybody who's watching. So I'm going to close with a little shot of my attic room. See what you think about it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.